Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to my thesis presentation. My name is Farhan Habib Aprian. I'm from Economics Education. My my proposal of thesis is fraud triangle analysis in detecting fraudulent data. And let me introduce the table of contents of this my presentation. Chapter 1 is introduction. Chapter 2 is theoretical study. Chapter 3 research methodology. Chapter 4 result and discussion. And finally, chapter 5 is conclusion. Chapter 1 is introduction. My research background of that type of fraud analysis in source of HPS research in 220 is the type of corruption. In percentage of cases is 69.9%, and loss of the percentage is 42.8 percentage, and misappropriation of assets is 20.9 percentage, and loss is 29.5 percentage. And a financial report fraud or financial statement fraud is a case of the percentage in is 9.2%, and loss is a 27.7 percentage. The cases is a very small in better than type of all, but a loss in percentage is same of a misappropriation of assets and is a very dangerous of a financial report fraud. And an example case of international is a company of British Telecom in 270, making fake contract extension and their invoice and fake transaction with vendors. Because British Telecom to reduce profits by GBP 530 million and cut cash flow to meet out undisclosed debts of GBP 500 million. And the case of the national is a Garuda Indonesian company. The Financial Service Authority and the Ministry of Finance said that the submission of the 2018 financial statement was not in accordance with PSEK because the management recognized the receivable as revenue of 239.94 US dollar million, which result in a net profit of 809.85 thousand dollars. And my research question is, the first is, does the pressure with the financial stability policy change affect the fraudulent financial statement of manufacturing companies? Does the opportunity with the receivable proxy which affect the fraudulent financial statement of manufacturing companies? And third is the down rationalization with the total accrual proxy data affect the fraudulent financial statement of manufacturing companies. And my research proposed first is knowing the effect of pressure with financial stability proxies on fraudulent financial statement, knowing the effect of opportunity with receivable proxy on fraudulent financial statement, And now, the effect of rationalization with total accrual proxies of on financial statement fraud. Benefits of my research. The first is a good explanation regarding problem financial statement and supports the development of accounting science. Number two is information from relevant stakeholders, namely investors, shareholders, creditors, and other parties. The third is become a lesson for management in detecting fraudulent financial statements. And fourth is a reference for the other which so that it can be further developed further. Chapter 2 Literature Review. Supporting theory is agency theory. The first agency theory is the theory that explains an agreement which is often called a contract between the principal and the agent is an interconnect in an interest. Jensen and McLeod. 90,076 and Abbas and Eisenhower. A fraud. Fraud in the general sense is an action that covers a variety of things by means of someone designing a false presentation to gain an advantage. Sir Atmaja to 2018. And financial statement fraud. A financial statement fraud occurs because the emergence of strength and opportunities from the organizational and the individual environment. This can increase pressure which further increase the prevalence of employees and companies to commit fraud. Aglaé in 250, Afiza and Aglaé. And the proxy of financial statement fraud is a modified Jones model. Developed into a modified Jones model with changing the income adjust for change in the receivable during the period. Detail is a idea of a modified Jones model, and this model is released in 90 90,000 and 91 and 91. Calculation of modified Jones model. According to Barus, Dicho, Himawan in Mijanarti, Prosmolida, modified Jones model are one, determine the value of parameter A using the Jones model with the formulation is, and two, then to scale the data of the variable and divide by the previous year size. So the formatting changed to it. And three, calculating the NDA value with the formulation. And for finding the value of discretionary accrual. Fraud-Triangle theory. Fraud-Triangle theory is divided to three dimensions of fraudulent behavior, namely pressure, opportunity, and rationalization. And crazy in 19,053 and then M et al. And one pressure, variable one, change. Pressure is caused by financial needs and situation arising from financial liability that exceeds the capacity limit that must be settled by management. Main et al. 2018. Germany and studies. Pressure calculation is a change and total asset now minus total asset before year and total asset now and total asset now change and receivable opportunity occur because of internal controls in prevention and detection, creating opportunities for individuals to commit fraud. Another thing that arises for this opportunity is the weakness of the sanction and impossibility of assessing quality work. Opportunity calculation in Pasari Win Karisma, Iqbal Mutanto, and Muhandisa and Anish Koyola. Rationalization. variable tree data rationalization can allow scammers to justify themselves for what they are doing, even if it's unethical, and allow certain parties to commit fraud. Rahman Surani, Takanan Satis, and Abdul Mansur. Rationalization is, according to Kartika Sari, Irianto, Stefanus, and Hugo. Theory framework and hypothesis development. The research in Mardianto and Tiono, Parsaribu and Karisma, Mohandisa and Anis Kurilla, Rahman et al., Alvina and Amrizal, and Ahmadiana and Novi. Conceptual framework, pressure, opportunity, and rationalization to effect the financial report fraud and independent. Research hypothesis and one, pressure with financial stability proxies has a significant effect on fraudulent financial statement. Opportunity with the nature of industry proxy has a significant effect on fraudulent financial statements. Rationalization with total accrual has a significant effect on financial statement fraud. Step through methodology research. You need in manufacturing industry in index the index in 2020 and documentation website. Selected is 55 companies in 2020. The technique is 55 and unlisted is 30 and not listed annual financial reports 2 and outliers in 6. The total company sample my recent sample is 34. A data collection technique, documentation and literature, secondary data, and process data is total of debt, core receivable, sales, net income, operating cash flow, net income, and fixed debt. Operation variable in accounting show and operational definition. Operating pressure, conceptual definition, and operational explanation. Operationalization of unity, conceptual and operational. Rationalization, conceptual and operational. Technique of my analysis is using SPSS version 26 software. One is descriptive statistic, analysis, recruitment test, normality test, classic assumption test, multiple linear regression analysis, and hypothesis test. Chapter 4, result and discussion. The descriptive statistic is here, and modified Jones model has the highest value of 0.01 from PTR1 and Chitramulya CBK, and the lowest value is minus 0.04 from PT Astragraph CBK, which means that the data range for the modified Jones model is from here. A change at the highest score value of 0.1 from PT Sales on Service TBK, and the lowest value is minus 0.46 from PT Hexin 2001 TBK. Receivable X2 has the highest score of 0.09 from PT Line Metalworks TBK, and the lowest score is minus 0.08 from PT Supreme Cable. Tata has highest score from 0.04 from PT Convection Detectors TBK, and lowest score is minus 0.26 from PT Jimbo Cable Company. A normality test and a histogram give distribution pattern that deviation to right. The graphic depicted the form of bell and the middle position, which can be concluded that the data is normally distributed. And in normal people, the picture above shows that the data in research spread around the diagonal line and follow the line. So it can be concluded that the data is normally distributed. And one test, one sample conglomerates mean of test, the value of a single 0.200 2000 greater than significance level of 0.05. So the data is normally distributed. This test provided the data is normally distributed and can be analyzed for the test. Classic assumption test on multicollinear test, if the tolerance value is better than 10% or 0.1 and the PAF value is rather than 10, there is no multicollinearity between the independent variable in the regression model, so that it meets the criteria. And scatter plot, the data points spread above and before the 0 point, not spread at the top or bottom only, and not cluster and from a certain pattern. And the Glazer, because the significance value of the three variable is better than 0.05, it can be concluded that regression model is free from the heteroscedasticity. And multiple linear regression analysis, and the equation is y equals minus 0.007 plus 0.040 to x1 plus 0.128 for x2 and plus 0.002 and x3. Statistical tests, the FT arithmetic and significance, the H0 is rejected and HA is accepted. This means a significance effect in pressure and the change with the pressure on financial statement fraud. In the second and second better than suitable and significance, then how it's rejected and has accepted significant opportunity on with the modified Jones model proxy. And three, HO is accepted and HA is rejected. This means that there is no significant effect between regionalization on financial statement fraud. Coefficient of determination R2, it can be seen that the value of the R square R2 0.525, and explaining the financial statement fraud variable using the modified model proxy is of 52.55%. The rest is influenced by the other independent variables that are not examined. Discussion of research results. The effect show is show that the first hypothesis is support. It can be inverted for this study. The change in total sets have an effect pressure to detect 34 respondents to committing fraudulent assessment. We show that second hypothesis H2 is of support. It can be interpreted from this study and the receivable ratio as an effect opportunity to detect 34 respondents in fraudulent assessment, and they show 3 hypothesis is not support in the interpreted after the study that the total accrual value as an opportunity and as no effect on the typing to the fraud spot. Chapter 5 closing. Conclusion 1, pressure and the change proxy on financial statement fraud. Number 2, significant effect opportunity on receivable proxies on federal financial statement, and no significant effect between rationalization and total process on federal financial fraud. Implication: a change has an effect when a company experiences economic instability. There is concern that investment flows will be hampered. Recognition. Receivable as an effect if the company experiences high quality of receivable to sell, then management will try to make receivable look small. And it cannot be concluded if the nota accrual are higher than cash, indicating the possibility of hacking common equation. Research limitation. The result of the study of an observation period in a short period of time, namely in 2020, so they can see the result within central period of time. The research is limited to industrial manufacturing company list. There is possibility the emergence of proxies as variable that can affect financial statement account, and proxy used in the financial statement account variable is only the benefit just model. Segregation, adding other proxies, expanding data for the years of the research, using the other proxies on the dependent variable and multiply the research sample at least 100, 100 companies in order to represent. And thank you for your attention, and my presentation is finally end. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.